Alrighty, welcome to the weekend video, guys. It's Enda here, and I'm going to go through the markets, and we'll have a look and see what happened. I intro this the same way every week. Okay, let's start in the currencies. It's been a bit choppy. Well, actually, the dollar really hasn't gone anywhere for the last month into today, more or less a month. It's been flat. It's been actually quite a tight range in the euro dollar. It's been looking pretty bullish in dollar yen, and well, I suppose you could call this looking pretty bearish as well, a topping pattern. But in all the hysteria over, you've seen the pictures, the burning dollar, the dollar is on fire and it's lit and it's been thrown to the ground and people are stomping on it and all that sort of stuff. Amidst those high emotion images that keep flashing in front of our eyes, the dollar has gone absolutely nowhere. So, what is happening? Well, in terms of my thesis, we have a long-term triangle happening in euro dollar in a B wave. So this triangle is continuing, and we're hitting a C wave high of the triangle. So we have wave B down here, wave C up here, wave D, and then E should continue that oscillation, and we'll probably oscillate somewhere around that 113 level. So we're up at 119 now, so we'll fall back down towards that 108 or 107 level, and then we'll rise again back up towards the 114, 115 level. So this will be wave D down and then wave E up, and then we'll continue that long-term trend to the downside in euro dollar. This is not denoting a bullish outlook for the US economy. In fact, it's most likely the exact opposite, because what happens when debts start liquidating en masse is, the largest debtor currency will create the largest kind of short interest in a way, or it's the kind of short squeeze that happens. It's people run for the currency that they are most indebted in, and in times of economic hardship, that's exactly what will happen. And they will run to grab hold of dollars, squeezing the dollar higher. And that's probably what's going to happen en masse across the world. Okay. Right. Now that I've explained my thesis on the world, let's see what's happening in the short-term pattern. So I'm still counting 5 waves down here. I thought that was a 3-wave pattern lower, but it looks like 5 waves down. It looks like it's still a corrective pattern to the side here, so it's most likely a B wave. Granted that we've had these spikes over the last couple of days, they have failed so far, and we're selling again this morning. It's 11 a.m. GMT right now, so we've got a spike higher in the early morning session, and we're at least consolidating right now. So we'll see if we're completing a C wave below the high of, a larger B wave below the high of 119.66. We'll have to see what happens when the US session starts later on in the afternoon here. So that's usually around the early session I think starts at 12:30 here. So that'll be like 8 o'clock over in the US. Okay, so what I'm expecting is still 3 waves down in A, then 3 waves up in B, and then a further probably 5-wave pattern lower in wave C, and that concludes that 3 waves down in D. So a larger 3-wave pattern to unfold over the next month or so, and I still think it'll be to the downside. Okay, so what do we do next? Well, we wait for wave B to conclude, and we have an opportunity. If this is a wave C down, it should be a 5-wave move, and it should be confirmed with a break of 117.53, and we'll probably head down towards that 114 level, amidst where support will probably come in. Okay, so let's see how that goes next week. Move on to pound dollar. Pound dollar is eke out a slight new high, so cable push to a slight new high this week. we had that nice three-wave pattern, which it was a little bit confounding to me because we had a triangle followed by a spike, followed by three waves down, which I was expecting to be the beginning of this A wave here. Not so, said the market. We had a triangle, spike into a completing third wave. We had three waves down in a larger fourth wave, and now we're getting the completing fifth wave. So I'll show you that in the hourly chart. So here's a triangle, spike to complete the third wave, so wave 5 of wave 3. The three waves down, which I had wrongly thought was the beginning of wave A. So it was three waves down in wave 4, and now we're completing wave 5. It's a bit of a languishing move up in wave 5. It's pretty short on momentum right now, even in the short term. So we've got declining momentum, divergence on the short term, divergence on the medium term, and divergence in the longer term. So that's a weekly chart. I should go down to the daily chart there, actually. Forgive me. So here's that completing C wave, and we'll move down in wave D again. More or less the same pattern as euro dollar, long-term triangle, and we head down again into a fifth wave. Right, let's get into the short-term chart again. Still looking for this A wave down. It should at least be a three-wave move, and it should at least break the lower end of that triangle here. So that would come in at about 129. So if we got a break below 130 again, that would signal that we're turning down into this larger D, wave D here. So that's wave C, so a larger wave D down. Okay, so let's move on to dollar yen. Dollar yen is the opposite triangle, completed in wave B with a bit of luck, hopefully. And now we're moving up the initial spikes to begin wave C up. It's been a bit of an arduous journey over the last few weeks, but we're still creating higher lows. Quite a spike lower last night in the overnight trade. So this 1-2 pattern is being kind of pushed to its limits, I think. Just going to have to see how that plays out. It's a possible 5-wave move up in wave 1. We've got a wave 1, 2, a nice rally in wave 3, an extended kind of correction, a triangle correction, wave 4, and then a spike in wave 5. This action here, it could be an expanded flat wave 2. That should be complete now. The lower end here, 105.19, must not break for this short-term pattern to kind of realize itself. I had thought last night that this was wave 1 and 2, but obviously we got broken below initial support 105.59 early this morning, early this morning. It didn't happen overnight. It got spiked lower early this morning, but we are pulling higher off that low right now. So let's see if this trend line holds, and we start to make significant or some sort of inroads into a possible third waves up. If we got a counteracting move today, once the US session opens, if we got a rebound back up towards that 107 level, wouldn't even have to be that high, but it would indicate some strength building rather than this would be the last final shakeouts in a corrective move rather than let's say the building of a larger move lower. And I just don't think that's going to happen now. I think the dollar, especially the Dixie, and the dollar across the board has suffered, relentless declines over the last few months. So I don't think, there's anything. I think we've reached kind of the death throes of this final move down in the dollar. And if anything, we're building bases and we're building tops. So we're building bases here in the dollar yen, and we're building tops in the Atlantic pairs. And the next trade that's going to happen is the one that people don't expect in general. And everyone hates the dollar so much that, of course, the next move is going to be dollar strength. All right. Okay, let's move on. The stock market, even the Dow right now is pushing towards that new all-time high. That can happen in a B wave. I didn't expect it to happen in a B wave, and that's the God's honest truth. But here we are. We do seem to have a 5-wave pattern pretty much complete. And when we go into the longer term shorter term charts, we'll see, the lower degree 5 waves all completing as well. So the pattern is nicely filled out. 3 waves up in A, triangle B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave C. Whether we break to a new high or not, God only knows now at this point. And again, the trade that I didn't think would happen is the trade that happened up in B. The trade that nobody thinks is going to happen is the trade that's going to happen down in wave C, or the larger degree wave C. So that's this one higher degree. So that's primary degree wave C. And for the moment, that's still the alternate count, but it's as valid now as the current count that I'm showing. So again, 5 waves up denotes a top, denotes a completing pattern, and I'm still looking. I'm still hopeful that we'll see a turn before the end of the summer. But here we are at the end of the summer. So hey, sorry, we're actually in autumn now. So I should eat my words there. Okay, here is that's the wave B. You can see here this triangle wave B. So 3 waves up in A, triangle. Hold on now, I've got a daily count there. No, 4 count. Sorry, 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down in B, and then 3 waves up in C. And we've got a triangle B wave and 5 waves up in wave C. So this could be like a 5-3-5 to complete wave C. And that would be a zigzag pattern. Well, it'd be a combination because there's a triangle there, but let's get on here. Wave 1 up off the low of the B wave. So we've got maybe a 1-2 pattern here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Originally, I was counting this as an ending diagonal, but that's kind of broken out of that pattern now, more or less. Wave 1, 3 waves down in wave 2, 5 waves up in wave 3, 3 waves down in wave 4, 1, 2, 3, triangle 4, 5. Pattern is filled. It doesn't mean the speculation won't continue and we extend again, but if you hear me saying that, well, then that means I've been pushed to the end of my belief, and I'm probably the last bear to to relinquish the bone. I'm kind of like let's say, a crazed dog that just doesn't want to let go of the bone. If I let go of the bone, that means the fight is dead. It's time to turn. Okay, so we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completing in wave C of B, or the larger wave B, so primary degree or the lower degree. Let's see. Would you top a market on the Fed spouting endless dovish statements towards a continued rally? Yeah, I might have thought that before, but let's see how that works out in the short term. So we have, a couple of left shoulders here built off wave 1 and wave 4. So that's our initial support band is 27,450 to 27,180, and we need an impulsive move to break below that before I completely jump on the downward bandwagon again. Once bitten, twice shy. Maybe I'm getting wise in my old age. Yeah, it should be. That's exactly what should happen, shouldn't it? Okay, here is gold. It's an interesting move actually over the last couple of weeks. I'm expecting this fourth wave down. You can see here on the 4-hour chart. So if I expand that a little bit, I'm expecting a 3-wave, either a combination or a flat. So it could be 3 down in A, 3 up in B, and then a continuing 5-wave move lower in wave C. It could be 3 down in A, it could be a triangle B, and that's what I'm going to expand upon on the shorter term chart, excuse me. So if we can, or excuse me, it is possible that this is a triangle, and that's what I'm going to dig into here a little bit. See, there's a three wave down in A, and this is a three wave up in B that I'm working with so far, and then we could possibly be we could be moving still into a C wave, which is 1 expanded flat wave, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a third wave down. We still do have three waves up into a possible second wave high this morning. But you can see here this triangle here. This is also a candidate for a B wave. So you've got A down, you've got A up, B down, C up, D, and E. We've still got that narrowing range. We've got 5 waves, and we're creating successive lower highs. So possible triangle B wave. That could be a good candidate for an alternate count right now. So I'll throw that in there. A insert shape. It's an interesting one. I just kind of bounced into my head there while I was looking at the chart this morning, trying to kind of gather my thoughts for this video. The B wave, I suppose, is an eternal candidate as a sorry, it's a very fitting candidate for a triangle also. And the very fact that we've just kind of grinded sideways, although I do like the idea that this is a 5-wave pattern lower, and I'm still going with the idea that this is an expanded flat higher. Still, let's keep an eye on this triangle. This does suggest that we will get a further spike to a lower high in a wave 1 and a 2, if we haven't already got that in wave 1 and 2 here in blue. Okay, so next week we're still looking lower, and we have significant tops that should not be broken. This B wave, this previous high here in wave B at 2015 is the most important level. Okay, crude oil. Still looking at this fourth wave here, the languishing move. This move here is the quintessential chart depicting what's actually happening in the real economy. So there you go, sideways to nowhere. I'm looking at an ending diagonal still in a C wave, which explains the sideways to nowhere pattern. And it has to be one of the most convoluted, impossibly hard patterns to read that I've probably ever come across. You can see still 3 waves down in a 4th wave possible. So we're still looking at 3 waves up in a 5th wave as part of an ending diagonal. This B wave here was endless and complicated. So 3 waves down in A, maybe an A triangle B, C up in B, and then expanded wedge, maybe C. So it's this pattern here over the last 2 weeks is probably the one of the most technical Elliott wave patterns that you could ever comprise, that you could ever build. Just incredibly hard to follow, and I'm stumbling over my words simply because I find it hard to even explain what actually happened over that last while. But here we are. We seem to have 3 waves complete, and we seem to be moving higher in 3 waves also. So if this top is not already in for wave C, then we should expect this 3 waves up in wave C to complete pretty soon, early next week, if not today. So we seem to have 5. It could be a 5, 3, 5, just a simple zigzag to complete a convoluted pattern. That'd be nice for a change. And next week we can see if we can start building lower highs again instead of straining our necks into nowhere. Okay, S&P, new highs, don't celebrate. Okay, so I've been playing with this pattern over the last couple of days. Get to the 4-hour chart there. It is a kind of it's a variation of the previous pattern. So I was working with an ending diagonal within a possible ABC move. So that ending diagonal would be within this last arm, let's say, of the rally. But you can also play with an ending diagonal off the wave B low. So it could be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If that's the case, I'm just going to show you. There's the wave 3 high alternate, wave 4 low alternate, and wave 5 here as a 3-wave move. So again, an ending diagonal, again 5 sets of 3, and again we seem to be completing this pattern quite well. We're filling up the pattern quite well into the current highs. So as I continuously move wave labels, where will this land? That's the question. So we have off a 4th wave low, we have 1, 2, maybe a 3 and 4 here, or it could be wave 3 down here, 3, 4, and 5 in wave A. So 5 waves up in wave A. We have an A, B, C. So this B wave here pushed to a slight new high. So that B wave consisted of an A, probably 3 waves down in wave B, and then maybe wave A up in 3 waves down in B, and then maybe an ending diagonal wave C in B, and then 5 waves down in wave C. It's actually a running flat pattern because we had a higher low 4 wave C, and then we have a 5 wave move completing, however you want to look at it, in wave C of 5. So we have wave 4 and wave 5 and 3 waves in between. The pattern has filled out this red trend channel here. So again, a full pattern, a full trend channel, a breakout above, let's say a throw over above the top trend line here. And let's see what happens next. We've just been looking at chart after chart after chart over the week, denoting how horrendously bad the internals are of this market. But then again, they have been bad for a long time. Over the last couple of months, they've been wickedly bad. But again, the market has just trudged and trudged higher. And, you can forgive me for thinking that the top comes in when we get a spike lower, Anyway, that's what I await. Let's see where we go with that. Let's move on to gold. Or sorry, silver. And the 4-hour chart in silver. Still looking at a 3-wave move building. The triangle pattern here for wave B might even be more suitable given the the endlessly overlapping move within the market here. So still looking at 3, maybe a triangle B and then wave C. So 3 down in A, triangle B. We should expect 5 waves down in C. The overall target still lies down around that 20 to 21 level. We have A down 3 waves, maybe B up in 3 waves, and we could be working on a 3 waves move down in wave C, which would expect a 5 wave move lower in wave C of C. That has yet to be proven. The triangle would and should complete pretty soon also, if that's a B wave triangle, just like I was saying in gold. So let's get this ultra count in there. If this is a B wave in a triangle, then we should expect 5 waves down in wave C anyway. And just for pig iron, you can see the trend line there, the compression in the price and the oscillation in 5 waves. So we've got A, B, C, D, and E, maybe. I suppose the biggest kind of push against that triangle idea would be this 5-wave pattern here, which would denote more likely a C wave of a flat, maybe. But we'll see how that unfolds. We've got a nice spike lower. That could be wave 1 and 3 waves up so far into a lower high, wave 2. So we'd expect wave 3 down pretty soon. Okay, let's move on to Bitcoin. Again, we've just continued lower, and the spike lower yesterday over the last couple of days, and a further corrective lower high. So this is still a kind of an experimental chart that you guys on the website know. So I'm still trying to build these patterns, and I will bring in the nightly written updates on it once I think we've got to a point where the pattern or the market action is following the pattern that I am. Let's rephrase that. Once the market action is following the pattern that I am following. So once we're on the same page pattern-wise, I do like the idea that we're continuing to spike lower. This could be the beginning of a C wave, so it could be wave 1, 2, 1, 2 of a third wave expected. So let's see how that continues. I like the non-confirmation that's happening again on the eastern side of the Atlantic versus the western side of the Atlantic. We have the FTSE selling again all week, more or less, and we have also the DAX turning and selling again. So, in fact, the Nasdaq is dropping finally, but we're looking at a possible 1-2 pattern, and this second wave pattern would be an expanded flat. We have 5 waves up in a C wave of an expanded flat. So let's see, we could have 5 waves down again, a 3-wave pattern either building or already complete to begin a 3rd wave down. So if we do get to challenge lows again in the FTSE at 5850 level, then it will again. I'm calling this the FTSE tell. So it's the very glaring non-confirmation in, let's say, a slightly less over-leveraged market. So the FTSE is telling you something is not right, especially if we have new all-time highs in competing markets on the other side of the planet. You can see this more or less the same pattern in the Aussie market as well. So other large major economies are not confirming what's happening in the US. Okay, so you have the DAX again selling. We did make a slight new lower high this week, and we're selling off that high again. So still looking at this as an impulse lower. So that's 5 waves down, 3 waves up in a 1-2 pattern, and maybe we're moving into a 3rd wave. We'll just have to confirm that next week and see if we can get another lower degree impulse wave and a 1-2 pattern building, let's say, off this 2nd wave high. Here's the Nasdaq. This is the pattern I've been following. It seems that we have either a 3rd wave complete or a 5th wave complete, depending on how we split this internal pattern here. We've got an A up off the July lows, 3 waves up in A, should be 3 waves down in B, and then a 5-wave pattern completing in wave C of 5 and ending diagonal again. You can see here wave 3 high, wave 4 low, and then 3 waves up to complete wave 5 in red. So that'll be wave A, B, and C of 5. And this wave C itself is, what I'm counting so far is wave 1, 2, and then acceleration in wave 3. So that'll be wave 1, 2, maybe running flat wave 3, 4, and then 5 waves higher again out of that. So that denotes a 5th wave of a 3rd wave. And we see a 4th wave happening now, and then a 5th wave rally should occur. apart from that, I think we're done. We'll just see what obviously I'll be back with tonight's update on the website, and we'll see what today's action brings us. Hope you didn't find that too boring. I hope that was at least interesting, if not useful. And we'll see you on the other side of the weekend. We'll have the midweek update for the video update midweek next week for all you website guys, and for everybody else. Have a great weekend. God bless you all. See you on the far side. Bye bye.